As soon as the movie opens, Jim is trying to entertain himself by watching it on his old, broken TV. Suddenly, his mom walks into the room. Jim panics and hurriedly tries to turn off the TV with a remote, but in his nervousness, the TV just won't turn off. His mom starts suspecting that Jim might be watching something. Jim tries to distract his mom with random excuses, but the sound coming from the TV makes it obvious what kind of movie it is. Just then, his dad, Nova, walks in and quickly snatches the remote to turn the TV off. Right after that awkward moment, the scene cuts straight to Jim at college. At college, Jim is chatting with his friend Chris. Meanwhile, their friend Kevin arrives in a car with his girlfriend Victoria. After dropping her off, Kevin joins his friends. Victoria, on the other hand, starts talking to her friend about going to a party that night and how she plans to have a great time there with Kevin. Nearby, a guy named Finch is sitting alone when Jim and his two friends walk over and start talking about Finch's girlfriend. Suddenly, Steve Stifler runs over, talks briefly about the party, and then leaves. After that, Jim, Chris, Kevin, and Finch sit together at a diner and start planning what crazy things they're going to do at the party. That night, the party begins, and everyone is drinking heavily. A guy named Sherman comes up to Jim and Kevin and starts bragging about girls, claiming that he's going to dominate the party tonight. He tries to put them down and then walks away. Soon after, Victoria comes over and starts talking with Kevin. Meanwhile, Jim looks to the other side of the room and notices a beautiful girl named Nadia. He tries calling Kevin, but Kevin and Victoria have already left. Nadia looks at Jim with a soft, affectionate gaze. Gathering his courage, Jim walks toward her. Nadia keeps staring at him as he approaches, but instead of speaking, Jim just starts laughing nervously. Nadia finds it strange. Jim keeps laughing because his confidence completely disappears in front of her. Unable to handle the moment, he smiles awkwardly and walks away. Outside in a car, Chris is talking to a girl and tries to impress her, but she ends up giving him a lecture about love and lightly makes fun of him. Disappointed, Chris goes back to Jim and tells him everything. Stifler mocks Chris relentlessly. Just then, Stifler walks in with Sarah. He assumes Kevin and Victoria did something exciting in the room, but nothing actually happened. Kevin and Victoria leave, and Stifler starts flirting romantically with Sarah. Sarah goes to get beer, but Stifler stops her and hands her the same glass that Kevin had used for the melted ice cream. Just as she's about to drink it, Stifler stops her again and starts sweet-talking her. While talking, he ends up drinking the beer himself and immediately realizes that the glass had melted ice cream in it. Feeling sick, he throws up on Sarah, and she runs away. Seeing this, meanwhile, Victoria's friend asks her if anything happened between her and Kevin. Victoria replies sadly that Kevin's ice cream melted because of the heat. Elsewhere, everyone's attention turns to a wall where photos of Stifler's mom are displayed. Seeing them, some guys instantly become overly impressed. At that moment, Sherman calls Jim and Kevin over and starts mocking them again. Behind Sherman is a girl he plans. He teases his friends and then walks into a room with a girl right in front of them. Kevin starts feeling a little hurt, and while talking, he begins drinking. Seeing this, Victoria gets angry at Kevin and walks away. Kevin is left feeling sad and disappointed. The next morning, Jim, Chris, and Kevin wake up and are talking with Finch. Just then, Sherman comes downstairs with a girl. He hugs her and quietly tells her to leave so he can make his friend jealous. After sending the girl away, Sherman walks over to his friends and brags that he spent the whole night with her. He tells them they couldn't do anything, says he's now a real man, and calls them before walking off with an attitude. This makes Kevin feel even worse. He strongly motivates Jim and Chris and tells them that before graduating, each of them will get a girlfriend and prove themselves. The three of them make a deal with each other. Feeling excited after hearing Kevin's words, all the friends go to a restaurant. First, they have breakfast, and while eating, they start planning how they'll attract girls. They promise each other that today, each one of them will win over at least one girl and make her their partner. After that, the four guys buy some supplies and divide them among themselves. Now it's time to take action. Jim signs up on a dating site, but he doesn't get any response there. Finch tries to impress girls by playing golf, but no girl even looks at him. Meanwhile, Kevin tries to make things right with Victoria, but she's still very upset. Kevin then talks to Victoria's friend Jessica. Jessica tells him that if he wants to make Victoria happy, he'll have to do everything Victoria wants. This makes Kevin feel awkward. He asks if there's any other way, but Jessica explains that Victoria is stubborn and that the only way is to win her back with love. While they're talking, Stifler suddenly runs in and takes Kevin and Jim to a singing class. There, Chris is singing with other boys and girls. While singing, Chris flirts with a girl named Heather. Seeing this, Stifler makes fun of him a little. After the song ends, Chris joins his friends, and they tell him that his job is done and ask what the rest of them should do. Chris says that nothing has happened yet, but he does like a girl. When they look at the girls seem happy to see them, which makes everyone feel a bit hopeful. Meanwhile, Jim is in his room when his father, Nova, walks in. Jim quickly hides it, but Nova immediately understands what's going on and hands him a magazine. Jim pretends that he's not interested in these things, but Nova knows his son is grown up now and needs guidance. While talking, Nova opens Jim's closet and finds a pack of candy inside, which becomes another embarrassing moment for Jim. Jim feels ashamed. Elsewhere, Kevin and Finch are together talking about golf. Nearby, some girls are watching them. Finch doesn't notice and walks away after a short conversation. After Finch leaves, a girl comes up to Kevin and says she wants to talk to Finch and asks Kevin to introduce them. This makes Kevin feel a little happy. After coming home, Kevin calls his brother Tom and asks him for advice on how to impress girls. His brother tells him about a special book hidden in the college library. Kevin then goes to the college library, finds the secret book from its hidden spot, and starts reading it. The book is filled with useful tips and guidance. In singing class, Chris finishes singing the assigned song, but then he continues singing on his own from the heart. The teacher is impressed, praises him, and congratulates him. Everyone leaves the class, and as Chris goes to pick up his bag, a girl named Heather approaches him. She compliments his singing, and Chris thanks her. They talk about their interests, and when Chris asks what he should call her, the two start becoming friends. Meanwhile, Jim comes home and sees that his mom has gone out but left food for him along with a note. Jim checks the food with his finger. Just then, his dad Nova comes home, which embarrasses Jim once again. On the other side, Kevin is feeling excited while reading the book. At the same time, Chris is playing a lacrosse game. Heather comes to watch. Chris wins the game. After the game, Chris and Heather are seen together talking sweetly. Suddenly, Stifler shows up and makes fun of Chris, saying that he's managed to get a girl. Chris and Heather both feel awkward. Stifler leaves after joking, while Finch apologizes on his behalf. When Finch returns to his friends, Stifler and the others start making rude gestures and comments to mock Chris. Heather notices these gestures while leaving, feels uncomfortable, and gets upset. Meanwhile, Kevin talks to Victoria and tries to make things right. Victoria starts feeling better. Following the book's advice, tries to act. Her dad comes near the door, but then walks away. Elsewhere, noticing Jim's behavior, Nova asks him, "Son, do you want a girlfriend?" Jim admits that he does, though he feels embarrassed saying it. His father encourages him and gives him confidence. Later in class, Jim confidently flirts with Nadia. After class, Nadia talks to him and says that his history is good. She asks if he can explain history topics to her at his house and casually mentions that she might change clothes there. Jim gets nervous, but after seeing encouraging gestures from his friends, he agrees. Jim gets ready to take Nadia to his house. At college, Chris meets Heather, but she's very angry and cancels their plan to go to the prom together. Shocked, Chris asks why, and Heather tells him that his friends aren't good people. Later, in singing class, both of them practice singing sadly. Jim informs Stifler that Nadia is coming over. Stifler gets extremely excited and tells Jim to set up. Kevin also motivates Jim. Jim turns on his computer camera and sends the link to Kevin and Stifler, then turns off the computer screen. When Nadia arrives, Nova brings her to Jim's room and leaves. Jim talks with Nadia for a bit, and when she starts changing clothes, he reaches home and gathers the courage to enter his room. Somehow, Jim enters the room. Seeing him, Nadia sits up. Jim feels embarrassed and starts to leave, but Nadia stops him and says, "Wait, let's talk for a bit, then you can go." Jim gets excited and starts dancing in front of her. Nadia watches him with interest. Jim sits on the bed, but his confidence suddenly collapses. Nadia gets angry and starts to leave, but Jim asks her to give him one more chance. Nadia stops. Jim tries again by reading the magazine and focusing, but once again he loses confidence. He tells Heather about what happened, and Jim feels deeply embarrassed because the entire college now knows about it. Meanwhile, Chris practices singing seriously. Seeing him, Heather feels happy. Later that night, Chris is working at a restaurant when Heather comes to meet him. Chris is surprised to see her, but Heather says that Stifler already told her everything. The two then start talking lovingly. Everyone continues to mock Jim, but a girl named Michelle talks to him kindly. Feeling happy, Jim asks her to go to the prom with him, and Michelle says yes. A girl tells Stifler that she can't go to the prom with him because of Finch. Stifler gets very angry. At that moment, Kevin talks to Courtney and learns that Jessica has been influencing her. Kevin then talks to Jessica, but she scolds him instead. Later, Chris finds out that their last game is on Saturday. Shocked, he immediately goes to meet Heather. Since Saturday is also the day of their singing performance, Chris tells Heather he won't be able to sing with her and apologizes. Heather understands and motivates him for the game, but she still feels a little sad. To take revenge, Stifler gives Finch something to eat that upsets his stomach. Finch suddenly gets a bad stomachache and runs toward the bathroom. Stifler tricks him into going into the girls' bathroom instead. Many girls enter the bathroom, strange sounds come from inside, and when Finch finally comes out, everyone outside laughs and makes fun of him. Meanwhile, Victoria feels ready to take her relationship forward, which makes Kevin very happy. But when Victoria proposes and asks Kevin to say "I love you" as well, Kevin doesn't say it. Victoria gets angry, and the two of them get into an argument. When Saturday arrives, Heath has to sing a song with another guy, which she is not ready for at all. On the field, Chris is playing a crisscross game, and he is actually winning, but he looks sad. Then there's a break, and their coach strongly motivates them. Chris starts thinking about something and suddenly leaves the game right there, running straight to the singing program. When Heath sees Chris there, she becomes very happy. Both of them get emotion and sing the song beautifully. Everyone becomes very happy after hearing them. Victoria talks to Jessica about Kevin and asks her how fights happen. After that, Jessica motivates her. Victoria understands everything and talks to Kevin right in class, asking him to go to the prom party with her. Kevin becomes very happy. After that, almost all the guys get dates, so they excitedly get ready for the party. But Finch doesn't get a girl, so he feels sad. At night, the party begins. Everyone dances and enjoys themselves. After the dancing, the four friends talk and motivate Kevin. Jim gives him a proper speech, explaining what the most important thing in love is, and then leaves. Chris also leaves. Then Jessica asks Finch to dance, and Finch starts dancing with her. Jessica gives him whiskey. After that, Victoria meets Sherman's girlfriend and asks her how her night with Sherman was. Hearing this, the girlfriend gets shocked and gathers everyone, announcing on a microphone that she only talked with Sherman that night and that Sherman has never been able to. Everyone starts laughing at Sherman, and he feels embarrassed. Kevin is sitting outside feeling sad. Jim and the others come to him, but Kevin is feeling nervous. They motivate him a little and tell him about Sherman, which makes Kevin feel better. Then everyone goes to Stifler's house. Kevin and Victoria go into a room, but Stifler's brother is there. Kevin sends him away and emotionally tells Victoria, "I love you." After that, be with her girlfriends, but Finch comes sadly into the game room where Stifler's mom is present. Finch is shocked to see her. After talking for a while, Finch applies a pact and feeling happy. They make the room's atmosphere colorful. The next morning, Kevin and Victoria share some emotional moments. At the same time, Stifler sees his mom with Finch and faints. At college, everyone meets and talks a bit. Chris is still sad, and his college friends explain to him that everything will be fine soon. Meanwhile, Jim is dancing in a room with Nadia when his father suddenly arrives. This time, Jim doesn't have to feel embarrassed. And with this, the story ends.